Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming. My name is Glenn Snell. I'm the Vice President of the WBRA, and I'd like to welcome you here to Marlwood. We're very happy to have Marlwood help us out every time. They've never said no to us, and I really appreciate what they've done for us in the past and what they're going to do for us in the future. So thank you to the Marlwood staff. And I'd also like to welcome the council. Thank you very much for coming tonight. It's a safe environment here. And I would like to remind everybody this is a non-contact sport tonight. I'd also like to thank Candid Frank, who's been very good to us over the years, and he's going to be recording everything. So if anyone's in the witness protection program, I appreciate you leaving now. Just a couple of small housekeeping items. We're going to be out of here at 9 o'clock. We're like via rail. We leave on time and start on time. We're going to have a second microphone, and to help Candid Frank, we're going to put it just at the end of the bar, and I'll be there to hand it to you. So for questions, we're going to bombard Gerry with later on this evening. I'd like to introduce our board members. We have Cliff Preston, Judy Desmareau. Is that close? Am I getting back? I didn't think so. Every time I introduce you. And Matt McDonald and our president, Peter Griffin.
And our vice president, Glenn.
I'll introduce myself. Thank you. So without any further ado, I'll introduce Peter, who's just going to give us a brief update on what's happening with our association and the town, of course, as well. Thank you.
Don't you just love meetings where everybody chats and it's like an old friends get together meeting when we get the WBRA team and the members here. So thank you all for coming out. Great turnout yet again. And I just want to mention this is the 6th year that WBRA has been in since it was born back in 2018. And the reason we got together for the Ratepayers group was because we lacked public engagement in our town. All of a sudden it had stopped. We seemed to be shut out of any discussions on decisions that were being made. And I think you can all agree that it's a little different now. And public engagement meeting on Tuesday night, where it was an open forum, anyone could ask any question they liked. It went for a couple of hours. There was lots of questions. And the biggest single issue, guess what? The parking pass. So my feeling was that that's the biggest issue we have in our town now. Things are really good. And public engagement is what we fought for the last several years. And we're seeing it the way it should be now. Public engagement goes both ways between council and town hall and the residents. And we lacked that for a while. Now I think you can all agree that we've got that in spades. And Tuesday night was a good example of that. Some of the people taking the questions were saying, give us some tough questions to answer. And so when you invite that kind of response, it's a good feeling. And I think, from my perspective, the mood in town lately, in the last year or so, is very, very positive. Yes, there's lots still to happen. And yes, we're all waiting for the beachfront redevelopment plans, which will happen on June 20th. We'll all get to see how our input was taken and what Fran comes up with. And we'll also see a bit more about the hotel that finally the longest freshwater beach in the world is going to get. So more to come, but feeling pretty positive. But it's not just about the beachfront development. There's lots of other things going on, and I think the recent announcement on the hub and the Catholic high school is huge for this town. How long have we been waiting to get our kids off the buses and get them into their own local schools? And actually, for parents to spend time in our own community, spending money after hours of school when there's events going on. So I think that's a huge one, and certainly worth a lot of congratulations on the way this was creatively put together to present to the ministry in Ontario. So thank you for all the effort that went into that and the creativity that was put into it. Also, there's other projects. The Deputy CEO, Gerry Marshall, he's going to speak to a couple of those shortly. But a couple of things from our membership point of view. One, we will be putting out a survey to you in the next several weeks, probably by the end of June, I would say. And we want to hear from you. What are the things that are top of mind for you? What are the comments you have to make about some of the things we'll ask you about in the survey? And when we get that collective input, we will actually, like true public engagement, we will meet with the town and we will actually share the comments. We won't share the names, we'll just share the general comments that what we're hearing from you. Hopefully it's very positive, but there may be some things that we're not happy with, so we need to know that too. Secondly, membership. See a lot of you signing up tonight for the membership. We need those membership fees. It's per household, it's $20, and as you probably may or may not know, your renewal of the membership will be on whatever date you pay it. So our year end is the 30th or 31st of May, so the year starts 1st of June, but for your purposes, whenever you pay us, that's when the payment will be due next year as well. That's it from me. I'm feeling pretty good about where we are. 2025, we're hearing shovels in the ground on quite a few developments. So, let's just hope that comes to fruition, and I'm pretty hopeful and positive that it will. I'm going to hand it back to Glenn now to introduce our guest speaker tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure tonight, and I was allowed to say a couple of comments about our speaker, so don't throw anything at me. It's my pleasure to introduce the Deputy CEO, Andrew, of Special Projects. I'll give you a brief history of his background. He's had extensive experience in municipal affairs and business. He was a warden of Simcoe County for 4 years, mayor of Penetang for 8 years, and interim CAO of Wasaga Beach in 2018 to 2022 to 23, just to warm up the seat for Andrew. But the one thing I really wanted to make sure you're all aware of, he was Vice President of Operations, Engineering and Planning for Rogers. He will not help you with your Wi-Fi tonight. So with that, Gerry, welcome. We look forward to what you have to say.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Thanks everybody. Thanks for the invite to speak. It's a pleasure to be up here. When I was looking at the topics, what to chat about, we've got a lot underway, and it's all exciting, and many different pieces moving it in different directions. So I picked 3 topics that you can't see, but I did pick 3. None of them were parking, by the way. I saved that for the mayor and Andrew later on. But I did want to speak tonight about the sports and entertainment division, the medical clinic, and our short-term rental undertakings. I don't know, can we get that video back up?
Yeah,
Oh,
back up.
never mind. Can we change the page? Thank you. So the sports and entertainment division is first topic. So the logo you see up here is just, it matches our tourism logo, so it's not necessarily the logo that you'll see moving forward. That's our tourism branded logo you see up there. So if somebody wondering why that doesn't say the town or corporation of Wasaga Beach, it's just simply it fits into the tourism brand, and so that's the logo that we put in place for there. And when are we doing this? It really matches a lot of our undertakings and goals. So we're pursuing a hotel that's coming along nicely. Of course, economic development's high on our radar scope. We want to be a 4-season destination, and it supports many council priorities. And also we have a goal. We want to be Central Ontario's music capital. That's one of our drivers here tonight that I'll speak to later on. And of course, the other thing is generate revenue, get that surplus, and that allows council to pay down that serious TPAL debt that's weighing on all of us pretty heavily. So can we transition to Ontario's musical capital, and Austin, Texas, as we can? So back in 1991, the Austin, Texas Council set a stretch goal and declared the city as the live music capital of the world. A pretty brave undertaking, pretty brave statement for that council back in the day. And here we are, some years later. It's a $1.8 billion live music industry. It's created year-round opportunities. It goes from talented locals to international celebrities and stars. And then they complement the music undertakings with other festivals. And they mix it up with a focus on dining from fine food to food trucks. Of course, music and entertainment and food all mix in nicely. So certainly the track record out of Austin, Texas says this can be done, and I think it can and will be done here in the beach. And are we breaking new ground? In a nutshell, no. St. John's, the St. John's Entertainment Division of St. John's is the one really that this was modeled on. Had great conversations with the CAO out there. Some thoughts, suggestions, lesson learned, best practices, things to do, things not to do. We've had those conversations. And a number of other municipalities have created similar divisions and have engaged in these type of large-scale events and sponsorships. And cities like Mississauga, Edmonton, Red Deer come to mind as I chatted with those folks as well. So, we're not breaking new ground. It is new for us, but it's not new ground. It's a territory that's been trodden upon. A path forward has been found, and I think we can follow that path, add our own nuances to it, and be quite successful. In terms of council priorities, as I said, this sports and entertainment division touches on many of them. Certainly one of the goals, number 8, was to pursue large tourism events. Goal 28 was to pursue community events. 48 was to pursue direct investment in tourism economy. And the 52 was resurrect tourism destination marketing plans. And finally, develop 10 market-ready experiences for the beach. So it fits into all those goals and drives in that direction. So that's part of the rationale behind this move as well. And so this is the tourist and destination, I said master plan, but it's management plan, so I've been correcting that a couple of times, but I didn't change the slides, so that's going to get me in trouble with Councillor Timms, but grateful, she's not here tonight, but her spouse is, so he can't share the secret. But certainly, the goal of that is to be a 4-season destination, be a family-friendly entertainment destination. That's our goals. We really want to drive forward that family entertainment, that fun family entertainment to drive you to come to the beach. Where do you want to go this weekend? There's something happening in the beach. Let's get there. Let's have some fun. And certainly, pursuit of a hotel. So our grand opening week certainly educated us on that. 50% of the people attending the grand opening were from out of town, and some of them traveled great distances and would have a hotel. And the band members, the NHL alumni, the figure skaters, and all the production teams stayed in out of town hotels as well. So we'll have our own hotel and drive that business, and it's another reason for a hotel to come to town and to open their doors. You take it's not in the agenda here tonight, but also we've got a junior team who's starting this fall. That drives people to come into town. Another reason for the hotels to come. So all these pieces of the puzzle fit together. We're trying to chase those common goals. And it's rooted in our history. Back in 1918, the Dardanella Dance Hall was built as a complement to the historic Capstan Inn. The Darden Wasaga Beach became a mecca for live music for over 100 years, featuring some of the most well-known bands in the area. I mean, it's fantastic. But somewhere along the way, we lost that path, and we need to get it back. But if I look at the Key to Bella's been true to that venue, true to that effort. And right now this year, they announced their whole fall lineup, or full 2024 lineup in January. One of our staff members tried to get a ticket to one of the concerts on January 18th. It was sold out. So we had planning this in advance and letting people know what's going on and staying true to your roots, because we think of Key to Bella. I don't know about you folks, I think of music. That's why I go there. That's why I want to go there. So it matters how that unfolds for sure. Now look at the bands we've had. Look at our history. Right? You got Burton Cummings was here, and Blue Rodeo, we've got them back. We've got Kim Mitchell, Amanda Marshall, who's coming back up for air right now, Nellie Furtado. I mean, if you look at who came, I mean, great bands, great names, and we can bring those bands back, some of those historic bands back, but we also complement them with some of those new bands up and coming. So, our history's there. We can rinse and repeat some of this history, by bringing some of these bands back, and then complement that with new bands coming forward. And my slides are out of order with here somehow. But anyways, our staffing needs, certainly, adding major events will exceed the workload bandwidth capable as our current staff complement. I can tell you that grand opening weekend, week was eye-opening. A lot of work, a lot of moving pieces back there, contracts to be signed, detailed riders with the bands and the production crews and timing of when they arrive, when they get picked up, where they go. There's a ton of work involved in these concerts. So certainly, more band and more staffing is required to actually make this a successful program for sure. And really, you need this to keep the bell out. You need to be planning 9 months to 12 months ahead. I can tell you that you need to book these bands well in advance, but you have to advertise in advance so you're not under that pressure of buying your advertising weeks ahead of a concert versus buying it 9 months or 12 months earlier where you get a better deal, a better spend for your dollar, better reach, and better media coverage for sure. And so the staff complement really is the director of entertainment, and then there's a contracts agreement specialist, and I call them two talent acquisition agents. So that'll be the group of four that'll come forward. The annual wage and benefit package for that folks, that group's about just under $450,000. None of which will come out from taxation. It'll all be covered from the revenue generated from the sports and entertainment division itself. The new staffing positions will be seconded employees because this is a pilot program. So existing employees, and we've got some great talent in our ranks in terms of being involved in entertainment and being involved in music from other parts of their careers. The backfilling of these, so we'll hire 4 people from our current staff. That'll create 4 vacancies in our current staff. We'll fill those 4 vacancies, but again, that won't increase your taxes because those current positions are already budgeted for, already funded, already in the plan, so they're not net new to the exercise. The only net new will be these 4 employees being seconded, and again, they're not paid off the tax base. The other thing we're looking at to generate surplus funds is to set up a municipal services corporation. And what this allows us to do is to actually generate revenue and generate a profit. So as a municipality, you can't make a profit. You're not allowed to. So you need a municipal services corporation that allows you to generate that profit, generate that surplus, and then drive that revenue dividend back to the town itself so council can spend that, and guide where that money goes. So the board of directors will actually be all sitting members of council. So not like this corporation is running away from the municipality and hiding over here. Our council members will actually be that board, form that governance structure and direction. So there's safety and comfort for all of you knowing that your council members are sitting where they should be. And under this model, the municipal services corporation will be billed monthly for these 4 staff members' salaries. So that every month we'll generate expenses against the corporation for salaries and benefits, and that'll get billed back to the corporation to pay back to the municipality. Then the other one that we're going to do here is the director of entertainment is going to also look after our community events division that exists here today. And so really that we can leverage that position so that we have a commonality between our events, low charge, no charge events that you see like we have this weekend with the roller skating, those type of activities. So make sure we can leverage that position for that. And the other one is the contracts and agreement specialist can actually help the municipal staff as well in terms of getting contracts and agreements in place and making sure some of those nuances that come up under those efforts are looked after as well. And the next slide, please. And the revenue streams, so certainly sports tourism is one of the revenue streams we would like to see. Conferences and trade shows at the in town or at the TPAL are certainly something that we can accomplish. Of course, we have outdoor festivals, high school graduations, college graduations are all can be hosted there. I know my grandkids went to their graduations last year at the Barry Molson Center. It's a great setting, it's air conditioning, it's a great venue and looks great. We can certainly do that in our arena for sure. And of course, sponsorships, we generated, I want to tell you about $82,000 in sponsorship for the grand opening week. And over and above that, about $35,000 in in-kind sponsorship. So sponsorships, certainly a good venue. And of course, we all know from the concerts, we can generate revenue on that. The surplus from the Blue Rodeo and Conference concerts were somewhere north of $100,000 and well north of that number. So,
Sorry. Want some water?
Sorry about that, folks. Yeah, so the concerts, like I say, Blue Rotary and Burton Cummings were well north of $100,000. When you look at the grand opening week, I had the presentation to council showed a surplus of $100,000 for the entire week. But Blue Rotary and Burton Cummings actually paid for some of the other events, like $5,000 for the library's undertaking. We had the opening ceremony for mayors and the council and dignitaries to open those doors. And we actually also assisted with Snowman Media and looking after some of that production activity there. So it's great that way. The concerts themselves, if you look at the ticket sales, so this is for 2025. But if you look at, really we're looking at 4 weekends. So very similar to what we did in the grand opening week. There'll be a concert on a Friday night and a concert on a Saturday night. And we'll rinse and repeat that formula 4 times over the year. If you look at that 440,000 in ticket sales, what that is average ticket of $100 per ticket per event. So you have 2,200 people can go to an event and a concert on Friday night, another 2,200 on Saturday at $100 tickets on average price. So the price of the tickets matters. I know we want to make sure that it's affordable for residents of Wasaga Beach and attractive enough for folks who are traveling. So that mix of $100 per ticket on average price is important. Sponsorships, as I said, we can certainly hit the target on sponsorships. We looked at revenue sharing. We didn't do that in the grand opening week, but it's an opportunity for us to do some revenue sharing on food sales and a few other things. So that's a revenue stream in there. And we didn't consider parking revenue for the concerts on the grand opening week, but if you're going to most concerts anywhere in town, if you want to park right on site, that's a $10 fee or $15 fee. So there's revenue to be generated on the parking side of it. And then our expenses, we know our expenses pretty cleanly from the grand openings. So we know what it takes for production, what it costs for the bands, the hotels, all the other nuances, security. We had installation of the floor, removal of the floor, insurance, and the rent covers. If you look up there, the T-Pal rental. When we shut down the arena, really it's about $2,000 per day in lost revenue for the arena. So we budgeted $10,000. So when you put the ice in and out for a concert, it's about a 5-day cycle. So $2,000 a day is $10,000. That's part of that $15,000. So we're not losing the arena revenue in any way, shape, or form. And the other $5,000 is for the extra costs at the arena. I know there's more waste, there's more cleanup, there's more staff required, so it covers those type of things as well. And then the sponsorship acquisition. One of the things we looked at is we need sponsors, beyond the borders of Wasaga Beach. If you look at the concerts here, we have these concerts next year. That's about 40,000 people coming through the doors just for those concerts. You add in this weekend, coming out this year, Strumbellas, Tom Cochran, the Carpet Frogs, they'll drive 15,000 people per concert to the beach. So all of a sudden we're at 85,000 eyes coming in just those couple of concerts. So we're not far off $100,000 people being in front of an advertiser. So who will sponsor that? It'd be more of the major sponsors that you find in corporations downtown Toronto. So we need firm to acquire that for us. So that's where you see that budget in there. And then the corporate cost that you see up there is really, we just took that wages at $467, and we weighted that those salaries out against each concert, so it's weighed in there, so it's captured properly. So you can see at the end of the day, each weekend, we're going to make about just under $80,000 per weekend. Overall about $311,000 on average for the 4 events or 4 weekends next year. And we again, the ticket price is $100. And then break even is 85% of revenue sales. So we didn't try to embellish this. We didn't try to make it look better than it is. We tried to be modest. We tried to be accurate. We tried to be, a price point that we thought would work, and also surplus targets that we think are more than achievable. And then the festivals really are, this is really what you're looking up here is the. It's a full weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, about 4,000 people coming in at about $30 a ticket. Basically that was from a festival that they run up in Sault Ste. Marie, a smaller community. Those are the type of numbers they generated. We also talked to Beau's Brewery out of Ottawa, and they run their week at one of their festivals of 5,000 people showing up for that weekend. And of course, Toronto much bigger, but Toronto's weekend festival for beer fest was about 8,000 people. So again, targets and that are established by researching other people who've gone here before us with their ideas and their thoughts how to move forward. And the third-party relationships, really, it's just really, revenue share, 25,000 is the target for next year. And really what we're looking at is there's going to be a figure skating show or an air show, a third-party concert or a trade show. Will somebody come to town and rent our arena or work in our facilities or our town to try and generate private sector money? I can tell you right now that we've already talked to an air show firm that's looking for next year. So, that target will be in there as well. So, so that's another revenue stream that's capable for the WSE to achieve. And if you look at 2025 at a glance, if you look at the revenue, $2.2 million over the year, expenses of about $1.8 million, and a surplus of about $400,000. And again, no municipal tax implications on any of those numbers. So it's self-sustaining. It's a corporation that can make a good surplus at the end of the year, and as that surplus builds, council will be able to decide what you're going to do with that money and what's the wisest decision of the day to make. And right now, the paying down the debt seems to be the main target of attention, and I think that's probably where it go. But council will make that decision when we get these numbers in front of them. I should mention, so we'll be cash flow positive. So what we're doing is we're seeking this out of the casino funds of about $500,000. But that doesn't come up all at once. Nobody's writing a check to the corporation for $500,000. If you think about it as an overdraft, if you will. So we've got a capability of a $500,000 overdraft. As we start out early, we'll go and dip into that overdraft to buy the concerts up front, buy what we need up front, spend that, and as revenue comes in, that'll get deposited in the bank, so to speak. And over the course of time, we'll go from using that overdraft to actually using our own money, and that'll happen by April of next year. And the other thing, by end of 2027, we're going to be about $1.3 million in surplus, and the council will be able to look at, pay back that $500,000 debt if they want at that time. And so the return is 167% return on that $500,000 investment. So that works out at 38.79% annually. So I'm not trying to sell you shares, but that's a good number because I tell you something came up with the plan. I haven't made 38.79% of my money forever. Never. So that's, but it's very profitable for us for sure to go down this path. And the next slide, if you could. So the economic impact, why else are we doing this? Well, it has great reach, it has great economic impact. And we saw that from the grand opening week. I don't know if Councillor White's here tonight, but he was sharing a story that he and his wife went down to the very west end of town, as far as you go, because looking for a restaurant to get into, couldn't get a restaurant. Every restaurant was full. And that's the impact of us doing this, the economic benefit of this. So the overall economic financial impact is about $1.6 million. And how that comes up is the Tourism Ontario, so the Province of Ontario Ministry of Tourism has a database. You go in and you just punch in your numbers, say, here's my numbers, here's how many people are coming, here's how many people are coming from out of town, here's how many people come from within 40 kilometers, etc. And it just pumps out the numbers for you based on all their data. So you can see here, $1.6 million economic lift for our municipality. That's for people, like say, eating at the restaurants, getting your gas. This number goes up, by the way, when we have a hotel. Because right now the hotels are either in Collingwood or Barrie. And because of that, then the Barrie hotel's picking up breakfast in the morning and picking up that revenue. When we have our hotel, that'll be staying here in town, and that number becomes higher than 1.6. Okay, and the revenue projection. So the revenue we're looking at, the surplus for 2025 for the sports and entertainment division is the gold bars that you see. But could you just run an arena and run this event through arenas? And the answer is you could. And if you look at those blue bars, that's the city of Barrie, the city of Peterborough, and the city of Kingston. And they rent their arena out to third parties who just do similar to what we want to do in sports and entertainment. And you can see they're making money of $100,000 to $120 to maybe $150 on the in 2027. So they can make money at it, but you're not going to make the same amount of money. You're not going to have the same amount of impact. And one would argue, that for us, we can seat 2,200 people per concert. Peterborough and Barrie can seat like 3 times or 4 times that number. So if you're going to rent a facility in our area, are you going to rent it in Barrie? You're going to rent it in Wasaga Beach. The bigger numbers in Barrie, and that's probably where you can go. So you can see though that you can make money at it, but it is my belief and council's belief as well, as we pass this motion, was that the proper and best course for us to move forward is to create the sports and entertainment division. And over to our medical clinic. I thought I'd give you an update on the medical clinic, and you can just get onto that next slide if you don't mind. So the budget for the medical clinic, really we looked at a 4-year plan. So it's $300,000 in year number 1, and 90% of that comes from casino funding of $270,000, and then 10% comes from taxation of $30,000. And then you can see year over year we moved the numbers up from 90% to 85 to 80 to 75, trying to wean ourselves off that casino revenue funding and a little bit more on taxation. But the ultimate goal though is, hopefully by year number 5 or 6, that we have enough doctors in there that it's a privately funded undertaking. So, we get there, we get it up and running, you get 1 doctor, you get 2 doctors in, and they'll take over that clinic and that space. And all of a sudden, we're not working, looking at taxation and casino money. We've got a different revenue stream that we look forward to. But the services are fantastic and it's well used. So Monday to Friday from 8:30 to 4, so we have a nurse practitioner there all day for unattached patient clinics. We have an occupational therapist there on Mondays. And then through the Georgian Bay Family Health Team, we have mental health, diabetes, and smoking cessation that goes on there on a daily basis. And if you wish, you can book an appointment with a mental health counselor for a one-on-one session as well. And then coming soon, the social worker clinic will operate on Mondays, and they're just in the process of hiring that person. And the physiotherapy operating on Mondays as well will be coming soon. Again, they're in the process of hiring that person as well. And then on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock, of course, we have our walk-in after-hours nurse practitioner. So it's a busy hub. It's happening there all the time. It's quite a busy place, and it's really going well. We'll maybe switch to that next slide. And so this is just a walk-in clinic. This is just numbers at night, and I should, and I was remiss, I should have got numbers for the other activities, so the number of people going through, but just in the walk-in clinic itself, evening hours, 568 people have used that facility, from January to date. And you can see the numbers going up, 118, 152, 157, a slight dip in April, it's a couple of days off with Easter and a few other things, but you can see it's well used. 568 people are now using that facility, and I think that number will just go up over the summer, so we have tourists and a few other folks in town as well. And then on physician recruitment, what really ties into the medical clinic as well is, we're offering that clinic space for a doctor, free space in that clinic. So if you open up your doors in our town, we'll let you actually operate in that clinic for free up to end of August 2027. And the reason August 2027 is that's just into the next term of council by 8 or 9 months, and the council of the day can decide if they want to continue on with that program. So that's kind of where that date came from. But certainly it's free space there. We've got a recruitment incentive of $100,000 payable to the doctor over a 5-year period. And those two numbers make it quite attractive, but they're big numbers. $100,000 sounds like a tremendous amount of money, and it is. But if you go to Kingston, some Eastern Ontario, it's $250,000. It's $300,000. It's a really competitive environment out there. So with us, with $100,000 over 5 years, and if you came into that clinic today with free space, we're able to compete with those folks down in Eastern Ontario to recruit doctors and stand tall. But beyond on the clinic and the recruitment, we're also looking at the new PCAL and the arena to leverage the physician recruitment efforts. So, rural Ontario medicine practitioners, they have conferences and meetings, and so we're actually going to tour with them in a couple of weeks just to show them the TPAL, the Remax room, the Rotary room, what we have to offer. So we're going to start to showcase that, so as they bring their students in there, new doctors into the area. Again, they discover us, they discover what's available, and discover what's here in Wasaga Beach to enjoy. And also in 2026, we're looking at the physician tournament. So they come in with about 65 teams, about 700 doctors. and include medical school teams as well. And so they'll come into town in 2026 with 1,000 to 1,200 players, and each one of those players is a medical doctor. So again, opportunity for them to discover us, discover what's here, and discover the excitement of why they should open the doors here in the beach. And in 2010, they came into the area and they raised about $250,000 for the hospital. So again, a great fundraising effort for the medical community, but a great opportunity for us to leverage that brand new facility in a manner that can attract physicians as well. And then short-term rentals. And so on this map, so we started back a while ago, and we've gone through right up to that open house stage here now. So we'll have a report coming into council. But we engaged quite heavily with the community. We're about halfway through the development of a new short-term accommodation strategy. We've opened, so we had an open survey to all residents regarding short-term accommodation regulations, licensing, and policies, and that was well received, and there was a lot of engagement on there. We had numerous one-on-one meetings with different community groups, concerned residents and business owners regarding the short-term accommodations. And we had the stakeholder engagement sessions with short-term accommodation business owners and other tourism-related businesses as well. And just last week, I attended the public engagement session for all residents. We had a mix of people in the audience and walked through, with people who captured thoughts. What do you think is important? Where do you think we should go? What's your feelings about short-term rentals and how they should operate here? So it was great. We'll bring a report forward to council in June, and along with that, we're looking at presenting council with it's called the monetary penalty system. It's called NAMS system, administrative. I can't even say that anymore. And it's administrative municipal penalty system. And what that is it allows us to charge people who are misbehaving, but the fines don't go through the court system. The fine comes right into the municipality, and that goes in, and we can put it on your taxes if you're misbehaving. So it's a way for us to manage those difficult scenarios on our own. And we're also looking at a software platform that can help us actually track who's operating short-term rental accommodations here in our area, and it tracks everywhere, so we know whether you're supposed to have your doors open, do you have a license, do you don't have a license. So we'll be able to have eyes on what's happening in every corner of our town, and then make some smart decisions and really work with people who are maybe venturing down the short-term rental path that they shouldn't be going down in an area where they shouldn't be doing it, and encourage those who should be operating in the proper areas, to make sure that we have the bar set high so that you not only open your doors, but there's a criteria that says, hey, here's the list, here's what we need to achieve, and we're on a gold standard. And if you don't hit that gold standard, then your license will be at risk. So we're trying to get our heads around it. We think we've got a good plan, and we'll come to council in June with our thoughts and our suggestions and recommendation. Council can certainly weigh in, because I'm sure every member of council's had conversations with folks on short-term rentals. So feedback that maybe staff didn't hear, I'm sure our council heard, and we'll have that healthy conversation about that in June. And I think that's it for me. Any questions? And so, just for clarity, so last week's meeting, they said the mayor, Mr. the Mayor and the CAO said they wanted tough questions. That's not me. I'll take the easy ones, but I do have Andrew and the mayor here if they get tough. But anyways,
Just gonna get another microphone. If I can just pull that. Thank you, Jerry. I'm just gonna go down to the end of the bar here with another microphone. So if anyone would like to ask a question, I will hold it for you. Thank you.
No worries.
Don't be shy.
Nobody wants to be first.
we have a brave soul.
Thanks very much for that presentation. That was excellent. It does bring one question up when we're talking about becoming like the epicenter of live music in Central Ontario or whatever, and that is, what exactly is the town doing to research the ongoing legacy of the Dart?
The dart we'd like to incorporate into our plans when you look at the beachfront, and I can tell you that it's a conversation from a staff level, I'm sure at the council level as well, but we all love the dart, so how do we preserve its history and how do we preserve its presence and proper place in our municipality? We don't have the answer for that yet, but we've got some really good ideas that everybody's kind of chewing on, so I don't have a direct answer other than to tell you it's on our radar scope and we'll come up with something for sure.
Thank you. Anybody else? I'm told I have to stay here, Joe.
Okay, I can talk loud enough.
Okay.
Jerry,
sorry.
no, that's Jerry, can you, I understand that the Georgian Family Health Team was granted a significant grant, and our clinic is going to benefit from that. You didn't mention it in your slides, so I...
Sure.
Happy to speak to that. So yes, there was a grant application put in place. So when we had the clinic and we were opening up the doors, we were at, I forget what conference it was, either Association of Municipalities of Ontario or maybe Good Road. So anyways, council and staff were at that conference, and we had a pleasure meeting with the parliamentary assistant for the Ministry of Health. And so we chatted with the ministry, told them what we're up to. We're looking for funding, we're looking for a path forward, and we're looking for creative ways to move this clinic forward, so it's less of a tax burden and more opportunity can be gleaned. So we've promoted as a staff and council with the ministry there. The mayor and with council direction actually wrote a letter of support for that application as well, Councillor Blanchet, that we put in place, and so we supported that application with every effort we could put into it. And happy to announce, I think, and I might have this number wrong, you might have close to your heart, was in the neighborhood of about $800,000. So it was a good effort. It was a great application, great work by the family health team, but great support by the municipality from staff and council level.
Good evening. My question is about the hotel, where you think it might go, how big it would be. Would it be big and gorgeous and glamorous, or would it be suitable for families traveling with their hockey playing kids? What are your thoughts about that?
Maybe I'll field this one. Maybe Andrew's a little close to that action as well. So Andrew, do you mind maybe jumping in on this one?
I thought I might actually just get to sit and observe tonight. Yeah, so the hotel, I'm not going to give away too many details tonight because that's going to come on June 20th. I will tell you it will be on the beachfront. I won't tell you the exact location yet, but we'll show you the drawing. It's approximately 160 room hotel. It will be a name brand. I won't tell you what name brand it is just yet, but it will be one that you recognize. We're talking about first quality restaurants, tapas bars, pool, fitness, etc. So it's intended to be a first quality hotel, which I think we'll all be proud of. Has not been designed yet, so I can't tell you what it'll actually look like. But we are talking about respecting the history of Wasaga Beach and trying to figure out a good quality beach architecture. So that'll come along with the whole master plan. So that's a bit of a teaser, and you'll learn more on June 20th.
So that's a lesson for everybody. Always travel with the boss.
Hi, Jerry. I'm very, very pleased and impressed by the announcements about the high school. I hear talk of other high schools, but we'll wait for those. The subtlety of bringing a high school to our town is much the same as bringing a large industry here. And I wonder if you could talk to us a little bit about how many jobs that high school is going to provide and how valuable it's going to be in terms of the overall economy of our town.
Certainly. So I think probably in around, looking at Andrew here as well, because we were all in those same meetings, but your employee base is probably in around a 200 employee level when you get the teachers and other staff that are involved in that. The economic drift of that is just fantastic. I think we're already looking at folks who are looking at what kind of businesses could open up near that high school that would actually be viable for the student population to spend their money. People popping in, so that's drifted as well. I don't have a number for the economic impact of a high school in the community, but I can tell you from experience in Penetanguishene, when they closed the high school in Penetanguishene, it was debilitating to a lot of our businesses. I'm talking like hundreds of thousands of dollars in lost revenue. So I don't have the upside number, but I can tell you from experience the downside number is huge. So it'll have a huge impact on that. Andrew, do you have a thought on the overall economic value of a high school to the community?
Not a tangible number.
No. Okay, so we don't have that. Great question. But at some point in time, I'll circle back, and I apologize. I should have thought of that in advance of coming here tonight.
Hi, Jerry. You talk about on the hotel. Well, that's in the future. What about now? Are you talking to the accommodations that we have in town that are available to run year-round, if not seasonal, or 75% of the year?
Certainly, yeah. I mean, Caitlin from our business group, economic development team, Caitlin's always involved with our local hotels and short-term accommodations and Airbnbs, chatting about what's coming, forecasting for them, what events we have, what to get prepared for. So totally, there's always an engagement between that community and the town on an ongoing basis. So we do try and prime the pump, if that's the right word. So we let them know in advance what's coming. And again, what's nice about this sports and entertainment division is probably in the next couple of months we'll actually have all of 2025 laid out. Who's coming, which weekends, what's that look like, and what they can get prepared for. So certainly that'll help every one of those businesses plan properly, how to engage and how to be entrepreneurial in the stage that we're setting them for success on.
Hey, Mark, Fred, you're looking anxious. Okay.
What happened the last one?
It's just down the hall to the left. Oh, do we have one? Okay, sorry. No?
Jerry, that was a terrific presentation. But I'd like to know, in addition to all your plans, all of which at this point seem futuristic, what's being done to include the infrastructure of the town to accommodate all of this? New roads, labor, stop by, sanitation, where people can, hit the washroom if we've got these crowds. What are we doing with infrastructure to accommodate all of these plans?
That's a great question, and so really, I wish Kevin was here because the last Tuesday Kevin got answer a lot of the questions. So Kevin's aware of our plans in terms of what we're going to do here. So we do meet with WDI on the hydro needs for the new high school, for the concert. So we have those in advance conversations with those who need supply infrastructure, to our efforts. So those conversations go on all the time. So that planning's there. It'll be part of the budget process for 2025. So we start to understand what our costs are, what that looks like. Some of the lessons learned from our last one was parking, for instance. So we heard last Tuesday the parking in around the arena was problematic. So lessons learned there for us as what are we going to do about the parking. So not only do we look at what we hope to see coming and plan for that and talk about that with our staff or WDI in this case, but we also take the lessons from real experiences so that the next time we're at the gate, we're better at what we did than the last time before. And I can tell you in the grand opening week, from the NHL alumni game to the last concert, we improved all the way through that, because the alumni game, we worried about crowds colliding with the bar at the one end, so we only opened at one side of that arena door. That was problematic because people had to walk around the arena. It was difficult for some members, so we changed that so you come in both doors and accommodated that. So we're not so vain as to think we have all the answers. We've got some good answers, we've got good vision, we have the good nuts and bolts, but every time we go through these, we debrief what can be better, what lessons have we learned. And one of the beauties of being in a municipality and the municipal politics and one side staff and the other is the feedback mechanism for a municipality is far better than the private sector. So when I was at Rogers, we go and I do my event or whatever I was doing, it was hard to find me as the VP of operations. Out in Vancouver, you had 650,000 people. We were doing different things. I didn't always hear your voice. But in Wasaga Beach, we have 7 members of council, right? They hear your voice. So the feedback's quick, either immediately because we're a small town, you can get a hold of Jerry Marshall, but you certainly can get a hold of any member of council. So our ability to hear what concerns you and arrive on our doorsteps to make a change is pretty immediate.
Hi, is there any plan to include catering services at the TPOW?
In what sense, Ted?
So that if you rent a room, there's also the ability to hire someone to provide food and drink and that kind of stuff.
We don't have a dedicated catering plan for sure. I mean, certainly our caterers can come in and service in the Rotary Room and the Remax Room is food friendly for somebody to come in and cater lunch, cater an event for you there. But aside from that, we don't have an official plan of attack on that.
Any other questions?
Do you have samples of cookies, Ted? I can always taste things for you.
You're letting this guy off easy. Well, on behalf of the WBRA, Peter, do you want any closing remarks or anything? Or? Thank you.
All right, thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thanks, Jerry. That was very informative, and it's good to get some of the details so that people are in the know and you know what's going on. So I think you did get off a little light tonight, but that's okay. You didn't want tough questions, so they held back. Excuse me. But I think we got a lot of answers on Tuesday night too for those that are at the public meeting, and there'll be a lot more questions and answers on June 20th when we talk about the redevelopment and get some more information on that unnamed hotel. So again, very, very positive. One last thing, in this room on this Thursday night, our Wasaga Beach Climate Action Team are hosting a wine tasting, and with where is he? Our sommelier is going to be leading it. There is the back waving his hand. So I went to this event last year. It was excellent. And you know, if you want to know more about wines and sample a few goodies as well, it's a great event. So I know they're looking for more people to come here. It's going to be right in Marlwood. So if you're available on Thursday night, please show your support for the Climate Action Team. Thank you all for coming out tonight. I'll let Glenn do some of the closing comments, but it's been really fun again. I love these meetings, and I love it's always great when you've got so many friendlies in the audience. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to be brief to just add to Peter's comments. Thank you very much. We really appreciate your support. Sometimes we feel that we're a voice in the darkness, but certainly in the last 2 years, we're being recognized, but we're also being heard. And through you generating some questions to us and what your needs are in the future, we're hoping to be able to address those. So thank you very much for your support. A great turnout tonight. And I'd like to say go Leafs go, but that's never going to happen.
Go Leafs went.
So thank you very much, and drive safely home. Thank you.